Let's warm up. Everybody stand up. Yeah. Yes, warm up our torsos a little bit. Let your heels pivot. And slap somebody. Boom. Look, a big slap in the face. Boom. Slap. And slap. And slap. Boom. Good. Circles forward with your shoulder. I'm really keen on warming up my shoulders a lot lately because of my injury 3 months ago. I'm about 98% other arm and backwards. Yeah, hands on my hips, circles. I had a friend come by yesterday, and I haven't seen this guy like in, I don't know, 18 years, and he watched the class yesterday, and he was sitting right here, and at the end of class, excuse me, he's like, wow, I learned so much. He had no idea. I'm sure, like most people, his energy about Zoom, other direction, is kind of like, eh. But he left here, and then we recited 3 or 4 details that he had never known. And that just talking about them brought them to his attention, and now he can see himself applying them and understanding them very well. It was really cool. So if it's possible, sitting here and watching, knees. Yeah. And other direction. No wonder you guys are there with us on Zoom. Fingers, hands, big flexion, and then extension. And wrist flexion, extension. Elbow flexion, extension. Good. Tucking your chin and relax. Tuck, relax. Tuck, relax. Last one. Good. Okay, let's squat down and go to the ground. Yep. Rocking back and forth. And then lay down and hug your knees. One of my favorite stretches. I feel it right in my hips. Pull your knees tight, tight, tight. Good. Okay, sitting up. Let's sit here. Throw our legs side to side as we do. Submissions from the mount. Let's talk a little bit about, there's a couple moves that we do where we use our legs from the mount, right? You use your knee or you use your thigh to kind of help your mount attack. So I'll try to explain to you exactly what that looks like in a moment, where we isolate somebody's limb. Go on your knees, wide knees, feet like 90 degrees right here, small circles, forward and back and side to side. Beautiful. Put your leg out like this and then give your knee extension. So I'm on one knee, but I push my leg down right at my quad, and I push, almost trying to knee bar myself. Yeah, then I release and do it one more and release. Sometimes I have a little sensitivity on my knee when my knees go onto the mat, and I felt it a little bit this morning. And I'm like this, I felt a little sore, not even sore, nerves. And I was told to do this to combat that. Press, 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 release. Press, 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 release. And one more. And release. Good. So, bottom of the mount, when you mount on somebody, sometimes I have a hand on the collar. Sometimes my knee, because this person's hand right here wants to grab my wrist. We know this. I have a hand on the collar and I want to choke somebody. They lay their hand like this across their neck. So when I come over, they grab my wrist. Now, if I come under, what do? They bring their hand down and they grab my wrist down here. So when they come under, I'm going to scoop. As they grab my wrist, I pull it down and I use my knee on top of their arm. So it would look like this, pulling it down, boom, and then my knee traps it. And now, even if I only trap this arm for 1 second, boom, my second thumb enters. So on the full mount, I have one hand on the collar, one hand on the collar. My hand thinks about coming over, okay? But then I switch to coming under. When I come under, they grab my wrist, but I grab their wrist, and I pull their wrist down. And now I bring my knee over it. Yes, look how my knee's off the ground still. I rip my hand free, and then my thumb comes over the top. Boom, thumb in the collar. And then when that happens, I'll shoot my hooks in, and I would squeeze. It's a little tricky to shoot your hooks in now, because you're on your arms a lot. But when you have a body under you, you shoot your hip pressure, devastating choke with the blade of the arm right across the neck. So hand on the collar. My hand peeks over. I see that they're ready. I come under. When I come under, they go to grab it. I pull it south. Boom, bring my knee over the top. And now they have no defense in place. Boom, second thumb in the collar. Yep, drop my knee and squeeze. Again, hand on the collar. Hand peeks over the top. They see it. Remove my hand. Come underneath. As they grab it, I cup their wrist. Pull their arm south. Bring my knee over the top. Trap it. And then come on top. Thumb inside and squeeze. Now, sometimes the person who, they know that this arm cannot reach up too much. This one can afford to swipe my arm away. But when I do this and I trap it like that, and now I come over the top, they have basically, they're at a fork, a split in the road, okay? We could refer to this as a fork principle, where it's either you go left or you go right or you go left. And if they don't do anything, that's choosing one direction, and I'm gonna choke them. If they react by blocking the choke, they extend this arm. And when they extend this arm, immediately open my knee, boom, and I spin for the arm lock. So probably one of the most common setups for an arm lock from the mount comes from a very solid cross choke attack, especially when they have no limb to defend their neck except for the one that gives us the arm bar. Hand on the collar. Second hand comes in, they defend it. I pull it south, boom, bring my knee over. Now my hand comes over, thumb reaching inside, boom, they block me. My foot goes one, and now with the weight on my fist, I lean, boom, and my leg spins around. How well you're able to spin on that move has a lot to do with what? Hand comes underneath, cup it, pull it down, trap the arm, come over the top. It has a lot to do with this leg, hand, leg, inverting that leg. Now, the question is, when you invert that leg, are they gonna take down their defense that's blocking your arm? Not necessarily. And the reason why is because when you go here and you trap them and you come over, because the moment you touch, you go. It's so fast that the person on the bottom, they go boom, and then boom, boom, done. The arm is caught. And because their arm is so engaged in keeping your hand away from the choke, it's very difficult for them to even tuck it back down. Now, if you wait, 3, 4, 5 seconds, then absolutely, that is how an arm is there. And then you spin 3 seconds later and the arm is not there. You did a full spin for an arm lock with no arm because they realized that that response is not safe. So we have to be quick. Hand on the collar. Second hand comes under. You scoop their wrist, you pull it down, you trap their arm. And now, as I come over, I'm going right to the choke. Now, if you want to armbar them, then it's good to bring your hand up a little bit slower. And then when they see it, move fast. Whereas if you want to choke them, boom, coming faster is probably the way. So I go slower. So now they say, oh my gosh, they're going to armbar me. They're going to choke me. And when they say that, they're more likely to reach. So I go, foot, and lean and spin. How well can you spin? Invert that leg. And if you need to, when you come under, you trap it. You come over, boom. If you need to, you can invert your leg, and you can even put your hands down, sit on the ground, and then go back to this energy, and then go over the top. Again, that's behaving as if you sat on the person's body, which there is an element of that when you do this move. Even though I feel like it's 90% on my fist, there is a little bit of energy that can be transferred onto their body if you need to. Final one, hand on the collar. Second hand comes underneath. I want to choke the person. They're grabbing my wrist. I cup their wrist. I pull it down, exposing their arm. I trap their arm. Okay? And now my second hand comes over. Boom, they block my bicep. Set up step, lean, spin the legs, sit down, catch the wrist and fall back. Or sit down right here. Sometimes at the end of the arm lock, person's head is right here. I caught the arm. They're kind of holding hands. They're defending. My hand cups their elbow. Which hand is this? It's the south hand on the side of their legs. And now with my other hand on the ground, pretty much like on both sides, my foot and my hand, my leg falls off the person's head as my hips switch. Look at my toes are tucked. See that? And then my leg comes over the top. So, anytime you have final arm lock control against somebody that you know you can finish, you already know. If I get here against somebody who I know I can arm lock, I've already arm locked them 20 times. What's the point in taking this arm? There is no point because it's already established. Unless they're like 10 years younger. If they're like 17, 18, and in like 1 or 2 years, they're going to start beating you up, then maybe take a few more of these. But if you feel like it's somebody that you just, you know, are more experienced than them and you're going to be there for a while, don't take this anymore. Challenge yourself, cup the far elbow, hand on the ground. Cup, foot and hand, leg leaves. Watch me do it by myself. Here, boom. Cup the elbow, hand down. Leg falls off, my whole body goes, boop, switch. And now I lean, step over, and catch the other arm. Sitting up, their head is here. Cup it, hand, leg falls off. Just pick my hips, go the other side. Oh, there it is. Hand down, spin, and land right there. Also, one more thing to consider when you're here and you know you can catch this arm, or maybe they're defending kind of well. You can also grab the let's say that they're holding their collar, for example. Okay? You can grab the person's other wrist, and then I dive my head under and hug their arm and hold my own wrist. So now I'm crushing this elbow inwards. I'm doing like an arm crush. So if you have, let's say my feet are crossed, my feet are together, I'm here, I control the person's far wrist. And as I lift it up, I dive my head through on the side where the person's head is. Boom. And now my south arm hugs their arm and I hold palm to palm. As I pull in, I kind of crunch forward, right? And that is creating this. The shoulder wedges this and you're pressing in. And you can create a fair amount of leverage by hugging right there because it's the person's elbow. Okay, so once again, we're in the guard. I have one arm. And then maybe they're holding their own collar, but the other hand is free, pushing my leg, for example. Both my hands grab their far arm. put it out there. And now I kind of lift it and I duck my head underneath, and then I hug, and I hold. So I wedge it on my shoulder, on the side of their legs. As I pull in, I crunch forward. Very effective technique. Now sometimes when you do that, they're holding their own collar right here, let's say. And I go in, I go whoop, and I catch this. They will attempt to push my arm up to free their elbow. And when they do that, they expose the original arm. So they're holding the collar, hidden, no deal. Attack the other one. As they bring their hand out to free the endangered elbow, they push up, boop, you take the original one. So the arm that's hugging for the arm crush gets beat. Your support hand takes, it hugs, it just hugs. And then wrist and wrist. So everybody's in the arm crush. South arm, big hug, holding and pulling. Now when they push your arm up, the other hand, hug. And then the hand that was doing the arm crush, grab the wrist. Fall back, double grab, hold the wrist, and squeeze. Again, I'm going for the arm crush, no deal. They're pushing my arm up. Boom, they expose the other arm. Lean back, grab, control. Yes. Full mount. On my knees, both hands push his arm to the ground. When I push his arm to the ground, he turns to his side to grab his wrist. When he does that, I lift up my leg, and with my hands pinned, my back leg spins. So, bottom of the mount, top of the mount, two hands push to one side, leg up. Let your shoulders turn and let your knee open. Go on your fists. It will give you more height. Do that 2 times. Both hands pin the Americana. Leg comes up, shoulders rotate, and spin. More than anything, this is a good drill to help you get a good spin with your legs and understand the hip opening, hip opening angles and requirements for this move. Pin it, leg up, shoulder, and spin. Try the other side. Because we're going to use this in an even easier manner when what? When you mount somebody, you anchor their shoulder and you frame their neck. What do? They grab, they overreact by grabbing. If they use the other arm to hug and defend with their armpit, it's very smart. But if they do what's natural, is they want to grab and pull my arm off their neck. So I put pressure, they grab. Hand down, my knee slides up. My hips are behind the elbow. Okay? Now from here, my hand goes over the head, I invert my leg, I lean, and I spin. So full mount, anchor the shoulder, frame the neck, hand on the ground. My knee slides up into the modified mount. It's like an angled modified mount. My foot's not upright, it's an angle. Now my hand immediately comes over the person's head. My hand and some body weight. My leg goes out, I invert my leg. Putting both fists on the ground to replace the lack of a person's body. Even though I would normally stay here, I put both fists for now. So I can lean, and then my back leg spins. Yes. Now the person on the bottom, okay? The person on the bottom, when they have their hands like this, if this is the arm that's in danger, okay? Check this out. If it's hidden underneath the free arm, this is the free arm. The endangered arm is hidden under. If you spin for an arm lock now, your leg will land in my hand. It's not good. So I don't want to spin for an arm lock if this hand is like this. You see this? The person's endangered arm is under. If the endangered arm was on top, that's good. But if they hide it under and I spin, they might grab onto my leg right here, lift it up, and pull the elbow to the ground. So, whenever you get to here, this final position, if the hands are the way that I said is not ideal, here's what I do. Okay, my hand, which is my hand is on the ground by the head, it cups the person's arm, and watch this, I lean and I lift it up. So now look, the one that I want is available, and I step over the head. So that's something that I personally do a lot of. I'm down here, and I go like this. I don't do this, because this is too obvious. We'll discuss it more next week in terms of defense. You don't want to be like this. No one can arm lock this. I go like this. Almost like my hands, it's not intentional. They just happen to be in the position that allows the defense. But you guys, you're too smart. You get on top, hold the shoulder, hand down, fold the leg. The hand that's on the ground, if they have the kind of discreetly ready hand positioning, the hand on the ground, put this other fist in the ground. The hand on the ground reaches in, cups the person's arm. And when you lift it, you cup it and you lift it, and then you lean and you spin. So you're taking this hand right here, the far one, is the one that catches my leg. So what do? I grab it and I go like this. I lift it. There's no way that this hand can catch my leg because where I pulled it far away from the head. Is that clear? You guys understand that? Thumbs, yes, yes. Okay. Last one. Mount, modified. Hand. Invert the leg. Here. The hands are proper. They're defending correct. Cup it, and then put your fist down. Lean and lift it. Boom, and step over the head. Yes. Good. Mounted triangle, arm triangle. Full mount. I get low, I hug someone's neck. When I hug their neck, they reach around, they hug my back sometimes. People sometimes hug the back, thinking like punch protection, or they want to roll you, they're reaching. If their arms are out, it's the best, easiest time to triangle somebody. Modify the mount, knee by the head, pin the wrist. Once I pin the wrist, when I pin the wrist or before, pull my elbow up to my thigh. Probably feels better to slide up, if I can, pin it right now, and then jump to here. This is a good post. Step on the bicep, change hands on the head, shoot the leg behind the neck. Switch hands again, lock the triangle. Once you lock it, you can squeeze here or sit up. Both hands grab their wrist, boom, arm bar. Here we are again, full mount. I'm low, the arm goes behind my back. Hug the neck, slide the knee up. Modified mount. As I pin their wrist down, I pull my elbow on my own thigh. Yep, pinning the wrist, elbow on the thigh, holding behind the neck. From here, I step on the person's bicep. Now I change hands on the head, just to lift the head and shoot my leg behind the neck. You're about to fall, switch hands again. And then as you fall, you grab your shin. You can lock it here, or you can roll over. Boom, lock it. Lock it full, or lock it partial. Hold behind the head and thigh squeeze. Triangle from the mount. We also mentioned that if the person's hands are too close to their body and you are unable to pin the wrist to the ground, which there are many techniques, right? Bugging the person's neck, grabbing their throat, anything to make them overreact, and then you swim, bring your knee, grab it and grab it. But let's just say that you're not able to find a way to make this hand kind of expose itself. This hand is too glued to the chest. So then you just confirm it to the chest and then whoop, throw the leg over the top. Grab, fall or not. So now you do a direct roll. Here we are, modified mount, hugging the neck. But you can't pin the wrist. Just slap the hand down. But when you throw your leg, make sure you remove your hand, right? It just touches it, throw it, and then as you roll, you lock it. Let's do that again. My hand never even posts to catch me. When I hold the head, I pin the hand down, throw the leg, slap it, throw it, fall, and triangle. It's a much faster lock, but it's not as good Because why? Because if we have a choice, you want to finish the triangle from the top. It's not as easy to finish from the top, but it is better. Why? Because they can't stack you, they can't slam you. They can't, like sometimes people just twist out of triangles. They just kind of turn sideways and the legs pop open. So it's a little trickier to lock, but no doubt, if I got somebody who was like 240 pounds, a brown belt, 6'5", if I'm gonna go catch a triangle on somebody, not 6'5", it's too tall. Somebody shorter would be more difficult. 6'5" would be someone like Courtney, it would be easier to triangle. But somebody shorter who is like 5'11", 240 pounds, and I triangle them from the guard, their ability to kind of turn their torso and pop out is very high because their upper body is so big. But if I lock it from the mount, they're pretty much helpless when it comes to popping my triangle open. The question is, can I lock it in the first place? Modified mount, grab behind the head. Slap the hand, throw the leg, grab the shin, fall, triangle. Good. Cross chokes from the mount, arm triangle from the mount. Arm triangle, you hug someone's neck. When you hug the neck, what's the second thing you want to do? You want to underhook their arm. Not always, okay? Not always. Especially against who? The person that pushes the hips a lot. So when I hug someone's neck right here, if they like to push my hips a lot, I underhook this. And you just know your people, right? You do your reconnaissance over the years and you understand behaviors from the bottom of the mountain. Pushing the hips is one, so you underhook. When you underhook, he wants to frame my neck. As he tries to, I drop my head. And then eventually I pick up my head and I allow it. I invite it. It's a setup. And now I keep, once they do that, I go like this. Boop. I lock my arms out. So neck hug. Once they frame my neck, my hand that's here, that's underhooking their arm, moves a little bit to the middle. And now both arms push up. Just not locked out. A slight bend. Yes, Megumi. And now as my hand, when they relax, my hand jumps to the tricep, drop my head to the outside, hold palm to palm, hips up, knee slides through. And now I melt into the side mount. I think I said it the other day. It's one of the simplest submissions I've ever encountered in my life. Neck hug, hold it. Easy to get this. Try to frame my head, I drop my head, don't let them. They try to frame it again, I let them. Boom, once they get in, move the hand, lift the elbows. Slightly bent arms. When they relax, my hand jumps to the tricep, drop my head, palm to palm. Hips up, knee slice, and melt down to the side mount. Yep, do it again. Neck hug, underhook the arm. Go for it. So I can see you guys. Neck hug, underhook the arm. They're trying to frame your head, drop your head to the ground. Don't let them frame your face, head down. Now pick your head up a little bit. Now they frame your neck. Move your hand a little bit at an angle. Lift your arms up, 50%. Good. Now when they're fighting, you hold. When they chill, relax, push the elbow. Drop the head behind the elbow. Yes, hold palm to palm. Good, Shinichi. Hips up, melt to the side. Yes, Christian. Yeah. The big thing in that move right there is allow. Allow for 7 seconds, 10 seconds. Hold them in that position where your arms are both connected to the ground and your arms are semi-locked out. They're like half extended. Hold them there and let them burn. And then when they pause, when they relax for a moment, that's when you jump. You don't jump when there's tension, right? Because the person's fighting to free, they're fighting. When they relax, that's when you advance. Yes. Okay, what else from the mount? We talked about the Ezekiel chokes with no gi and with the gi. So if someone goes for an elbow escape on you, you're low, you have your hands out wide. Let's say that they slip out on my right leg side. Boom. My right arm controls their arm. If I let them hug my neck, my Ezekiel is done. Right away, my right elbow drops down. So they escape on the right side, right elbow drops down, left arm hugs the neck. Now, because they're looking that way, I got clear access. Boom, to the neck, wrist, and then squeeze. I do this move even if it's gi, even if we're all wearing gis, because sometimes the sleeve can be a little tight. It can be difficult to do the standard Ezekiel from this position. And sometimes, even if this was possible, this is just so clean and so simple that why not? They escaped. Boom, they escaped on my right side. So my right elbow drops down and my left arm hugs the neck. Now, I place my right fist in the person's neck. Boom. My left arm hugs the neck. I place my right fist in the neck and I grab my wrist. And now my shoulder and my fist are about 3 inches apart. And then I drop them. I bring them together. This motion. Now the Ezekiel choke, the arm that's hugging the neck, would grab inside my sleeve. See that? And then I would slide my hands like this. Boom, across the neck. And extend the arms. So the Ezekiel choke can be a little bit uncomfortable for the fingers, but if your fingers are strong, if the grip is good, and the gi has a little bit of slack, and you get, boom, good placement, yes, you can, boom, extend the arm. So same principle, same idea. They push, they escape. Elbow down. Control. Neck hug. Grab the sleeve. And now punch it across. Boom. And then extend the arms. Okay. Cross chokes from the mount. Just the game of putting one hand in the collar. Boom. And when you put one hand in the collar, the reason why people don't put a hand in the collar is why? People fear giving up their arm. Now that's exactly why you want to put the hand on the collar, but you want to have a plan with what to do when they grab your arm. So if you put your hand on the collar and they grab your arm and then you just stay there and they roll you, then there was no plan. But if I put a hand on the collar and as this person goes to grab my arm, they're going to grab it, I pull it out. Now I put my other hand on the collar. But look at the speed at which it's entering. It's almost like I'm giving it to them. I'm entering a little bit slower. As they grab it, boom, my second hand enters. So the game is let one hand go in 60-70% and then boom, take it out. Put the other hand in. As it's about 60-70%, my second hand goes boom, underneath. So they both end. They should both hit here at the same time. One hand goes in, I remove it. I'm making it I'm kind of baiting them to want to grab it. I'm dangling it in front of them. No. And then the second hand goes in. The new first hand goes in. And then whoop, both hands end together. So obviously the first one is going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clicks. This one is just boom, 1 in terms of time, in terms of speed. That's you playing with velocity. Hand on the collar, boom, pull it out. Second hand goes in, and then boom, third hand comes in the fastest. Yes. Very nice. Okay. Arm triangles, Ezekiel, no gi, gi, cross chokes, arm bars, triangles from the mount. There is, what questions do we have? The other day you guys typed in some things. What else are we thinking from the mount that you guys have not seen? Anybody have any ideas? What can we type in that can be practiced? Ezekiel. Oh, let's read these questions first. Don't type anything yet. Hold all your typing. Yes, Courtney, what did you want to see again? Did I end up doing it again? If not, type it in and let me know. And then when the arm you want is underneath, can you also switch sides and go to the other arm? Which move is that for, Osamu? When the arm that you want is underneath. When the arm you want is underneath, can you also switch sides and go for the other arm? Oh, I understand. I think he means from this, right? He means from here. So the arm that I want is underneath. And this arm is up. Can I attack this arm? Yes. I can hold this right here, right? And I can do... How would I switch? I would switch my hips. Boom. And switch. Potentially, yes. It feels a little far away. But the answer is yes. If I'm remembering correctly, I don't do it too often, but it is something that Kevin does. One of our friends here comes by and trains sometimes the black belt. Kevin will sometimes attack the other arm, but it requires obviously a big hip switch. So I believe he'll grab it like this. Yeah, he'll grab it with the north hand, I believe, holding this, and then he'll use his hips and kind of smear his hips over, from what I understand. But it's not something that I do too much. The answer is yes. When you bug the neck and then modify the mount, is the choke an option from the modified mount position? So when you bug the neck and modify the mount, it's a choke an option. When you bug the neck hug, modify the mount. Do you mean from here, Jason? Where are you, Jason? Move your arm.
He's at the bottom.
Do you mean from here? From this modified mount? From the neck hug? Where is he?
His screen's not showing.
Oh, I can't see.
Yeah.
So you have to be a little more clear on that, or if you want to talk about it. But the answer is you have to try. From any position, you guys, when any question that you ask, can you switch to here and switch to there? The answer is probably yes. The question is, how difficult is it, right? When you cup the shoulder to bug the neck. Oh, yes. When you cup the shoulder to bug the neck, and you grab like this, and you slide around. Yes. Can you choke from here is the question. Scroll back up to his original question. You want to know if you can choke. Yes. The answer is yes. When you get your knee high behind the shoulder. So let's say I have my anchor the shoulder. If it's no gi, not really. But if I have a hand on the collar and I put a little pressure, I can slide around and then maybe, boom, put my thumb in the collar. The thing is, though, that I'm so high that it is a little more natural to spin for the arm lock. So it's not the suggested behavior. Good. Okay, can you do the transition from Americana neck hug variation? Yeah, we talked about the triangle, the arm triangle from the Americana neck hug. So full mount neck hug, you're pinning someone's wrist down. Everybody have a neck hug and hold someone's wrist. When they bend their arm, you kind of hand it off and you do the Americana arm lock. Okay, you hand it to the arm under the neck, you come underneath, you grab your own wrist. You loop the arm around the head and you catch the Americana. Sometimes you can't loop the arm around the head. You pin the wrist, they hand it off, you come underneath. Now you can't loop it, so then you lift their elbow and your head drops behind. And now you let go, hold palm to palm, hips up and slide across. So by myself, neck hug, I pin the wrist. As their arm bends, I grab it. Second hand comes underneath, grab my own wrist. I can't loop the arm around the head, so I lift their elbow and I dip my head on the other side of it. Once my head is down, I hold hands. I lift my hips up and I bring my legs both to the outside, right? Because the person's arm is here. I want to get on that side of the person. Okay, outside the arms. That was also a good one to review, yes. Okay, so I would say, what do you guys think the number one reason why you don't catch your submissions from the mount is? What's the number one reason why? Number one, what do you guys think? I do that against the day. Sweet. Number one reason you don't catch. Balance. Slow down. Poor mount control. Lack of patience. Skip control. Yes. Good, Shinichi. Yes. It is that. It is because when you get to the mount, you believe that what you're supposed to do is to attack. Correct, Robert, lack of patience. Because you think that, okay, I am in the mount. It is time to attack. Somebody somewhere told you that. That is why. Now, even if someone did not tell you, hey, when you get to the mount, you're supposed to attack. Let's say that they told you, when you get to the mount, you're supposed to control mount. Not supposed to, I shouldn't use that word. When you get to the mount, the best use of your time and energy and technique is to establish, not only establish, but also maintain the position for a while. When someone tells you that how much that lands with you has to do with your own kind of strength, because the whole world is telling you to do otherwise. The whole world is telling you to do what? To go for an armbar, for a triangle, for a submission, to attack the person. And when I say the whole world, I don't even only mean jiu-jitsu. I mean like just in general, like defeating the person, competition itself, finishing someone. It could be in jiu-jitsu, it can be in a video game where you're supposed to like kill the other players with guns. It doesn't matter. Everything is about finishing the other person. But there's a lot of risk when you behave like that. So are there times where the submission is being given to you and it's so obvious and you can take it? Yes. But I would have to say, like, I enjoy watching sometimes groups of people sparring. And I watch, and when I see somebody land in the mount, I start counting. And it's very rare that I can count past 5 or 6 before the person begins going for submissions. That's it. Now, for example, our friend Kevin, who comes and trains sometimes with us, Kevin Casey, when I train with Kevin, do you think I'm going for a submission in the first 5 to 6 seconds? Nope, not at all. So then, when I train with a blue belt here, do I go for a submission in 5 or 6 seconds? Nope, not at all. Because I'm treating that blue belt as if they are somebody who I really want to submit. Another black belt, for example. If I mount on Alex, when I mount Alex, no, 5 seconds, easy. 20 seconds, full control. And then only after I feel like, okay, I'm here, then I attack. Now, when you're not that experienced, sometimes holding the mount for 30, 40 seconds feels impossible. So you're never going to get to attack. And I understand that. So just do your best and at least hold for a little bit. So your 20, 30 seconds might be 10 seconds. Whereas me holding Alex for 20 or 30, that does a lot. You holding somebody for 10, it's just you're showing that you're prioritizing keeping the position. Of course, open to the exception where someone is saying, please submit me, by exposing themselves very obviously on the bottom. Okay? This is what jiu-jitsu is missing. All the submissions in the world mean nothing if you can't hold the mount for 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, okay? Thank you guys. See you tonight and tomorrow morning. Henry will show some of his favorite mount submissions. I know what he likes. He likes to cross choke me. So that's the only way Henry ever beats me from the mount is cross chokes. Cross choke. Yeah, it's a cross choke. It's the most dangerous thing. And vice versa, right? But I also do a little bit of arm locks. Okay. Have a great day. Thank you guys. Ciao.
Thank you.
I'll take you here on